And the 49ers have had the upper hand, winning the last 2 times in the playoffs, knocking the Cowboys out. Niners are 4-0. Dallas looked good against the Patriots, but slipped up against Arizona the week before. The Niners did not slip up against Arizona, although the Cardinals look better than people think.
I think they got a chance at the playoffs. It's early, and I know they're 1-3, but man.
Look better than people think to this point, but it is Cowboy week and everything that goes along with it. Man. The rivalry, the Cowboys already talking about it. The Niners have not really been talking about it.
Because they're daddy. Dallas needs this game not for the math, but for their psyche. This game means more to the team in Texas than the Niners. Now, I'm not saying the Niners aren't ready. This is, Brock Purdy. If you want to treat yourself to some good-ass football, go rewatch that playoff game last year that resulted in a Niners 19-12 win. You will appreciate both efforts from both defensive units. Brock Purdy being put in the fire his second playoff game, not one error. JD, how does this kid have the mechanism not to turn the ball over? No, that's not on Kyle. That came with him. Well, that's his attribute.
He's in lockstep with Kyle.
He threw some balls that could have been picked, but they're dropping them.
He's had a little turnover luck. Huh? He has.
He has a lot.
He has, but he's also made some big-time plays, man. He's
him and Ayuk got a thing.
Here's the thing. You know what the great quarterbacks do?
I was going to say win.
Yes.
Okay.
But what the great quarterbacks do is they make throws that when the ball leaves their hand, you're like, oh, damn, like how's that going to get there? And then it gets there.
Like the one Ayuk Sunday where 2 Cardinals were 3 flies up.
The greats are like, that ain't a good decision. Oh, my God, it's a touchdown. Oh, my God, it's a 50-yard gain.
Bam.
Oh, my, it's the throw. The great quarterbacks, and Niner fans this is going to drive them nuts because it was a bad play.
You better be careful.
But the great quarterbacks, the throw that I think of is the Aaron Rodgers throw with the one time that he beat the Niners in 21 in the regular season.
When they came back Sunday Night Football,
it right over the top of Fred Moore, and you're like, that's getting picked 5 different ways,
yep.
And it's perfect into the dude's hands, right over the fingertips, like that.
You couldn't have drew it up better.
The great quarterbacks make those throws where you're like, oh my God, and then it ends up being a big-time play, and Purdy has had the knack for a few of those that you think, how's that getting there? And it gets there. He's also had a little turnover luck.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Right, but at the bottom line, he's got a goose egg in that column right now, JD, and it's just, luck is involved in everything we do, every aspect of life, but JD, what the Niners do is stop the other team on the first drive, and let me tell you what happens because you're watching.
They score on the first drive.
Score, but let's talk about the other side of the ball here. I do believe this Niner defense is not playing up to par to their standards that they set, and I'm shocked because we had Leroy from Oakland call yesterday, and he put it at the doorstep in regard to the D-line and the pressure. I don't think they've been disruptive, and I don't think it's Bosa not being here for camp, but when I heard Hargrave was coming and you plucked him from your rival, I'm not seeing that dominance yet. And to be honest, in the Ram game, the Rams won the time of possession. That was a close game. The Rams had to lead at certain times. Arizona did some creative things on offense, from running the ball to passing to running, but they drove the ball on the Niners 99 yards. You could say, Guru, what do you speak of because they only scored 16? No, I get that, and they only gave up to Joe Montana. But I'm wondering, a better team, and maybe Dallas, if they see something, that secondary, getting guys to bite on the play action what Dallas is running now, the Texas, their version of the West Coast offense, and Dak is getting rid of the ball. I do wonder, can the Niners get to where they want to go with the defense playing like they're playing now? And it's not bad, Jay. It's just not as good as the offense is playing and the defense that we're accustomed to just last year under DeMeco Ryans.
My take is that every game isn't going to be dominant.
All right.
That was my take, and I think right now Arizona is competitive, as the Cowboys sure as hell know, because they put it on them.
I thought they would come here flat because they got that win. They were down 5.
I also think the Niners jumped on him,
Yeah,
and then the Niners jumped on him, and then they got back in it, and there was a moment where it was like, oh, this is a game, and then
he throws to Ayuk.
The throw to Ayuk, that was that was the play of the game.
Wow.
After it got close.
Yeah.
That was the
you get a stop there,
even
oh
though
my
they
God.
hadn't scored.
Yeah,
that was the play.
But
where
the first play.
That was the play where I was like, the Niners are not losing this game. It's not even, and not only are the Niners not losing the game, but it's not even going to be tight.
All right.
Even though it's tight in that right up until that moment. So, to me, the Niner defense, my thoughts on them coming into the season were that they were not going to be as dominant as they've been.
Explain that, because I didn't think that.
I think guys are getting a little older.
Okay.
I think Bosa's off. I think Bosa is great.
The holdout.
I think Bosa's going to be great. I think he's still working his way back in. I think Hargrave's been a monster. Hargrave's been terrific.
Right.
But it's been a little more hit and miss. It's been a little more, they've either been dominant or they've been
we can drive on them a little bit.
So the Rams had their success on them. Maybe
that shocked me.
Maybe the dominance of the first week was a little more about Pittsburgh being inept offensively.
Because your boy missed some throws. And I don't want to sound like a hater. Pickett missed some throws. Yeah. Like, okay, you had your man beat. We can all understand that, but the throw was off target.
I went into it thinking it was also going to be a work in progress with Wilkes as far as the way the 49ers have been used to doing things and him coming in as a respected defensive coordinator, but a guy that's gone about it a little differently with the blitzing and things like that. Like him finding his comfort zone versus a guy that's one of the better defensive coordinators in the league, and he's an OG. He's been doing it for a minute, right? Like he comes in with some clout, but yet the Niners have had a way they've been doing it, and so he's got things that he knows they can do versus the things that they have been doing. And so I think that was going to take half a season in my mind to gel. Then you add Bosa not being a part of it initially, so that's part of it. Hargrave, I think, has been a monster. Warren Greenlaw, I think, have been monsters.
What about Leroy putting something at the doorstep of Armstead? Because you and I did a show before the season started, and you're like, "Goo, this not calling him out." You were like, he had a pretty damn good year last year. Nope, you didn't get a lot of credit for it.
He wrecked shop against Pittsburgh. I think he's been less noticeable in the 3 games since. I think that's fair. But I'm not panicking about the defense at all. Okay. Like that's the main
I'm
theme
really not
is
either.
The main theme is I think they're maybe not as good as they've been. Overall, I think Bosa's still great. I love Hargrave. 54 and 57 are fun. I mean, 57
Greenlaw.
I blink and 57 is going to come lay me out on the YouTube stream.
Might get a flag for it.
Might get a flag for it, but like he's just a monster in the best way possible. So they've been fine.
Okay. Let me tell you.
I don't feel like the secondary's been exposed or anything like that, but
Brown and Wilson got off. Hollywood Brown, 7 for 96. Wilson had his first touchdown, 7 for 76.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say to you is...
But has it felt like the secondary's been exposed? It really hasn't to the eye test to me.
No, but this has been, I don't want to say a reoccurring theme, but I know Ronnie Lott is not back there. But it starts up front. If the Niners are going to give quarterbacks time to throw, you know the old adage, somebody's going to get open, Jay. And what I've learned this year through 4 games is this Niner offense is so lethal that if I'm an offensive coordinator, you know how I deal with that offense is keep their ass on the sideline. And you know how you do that, Jay? Is 99-yard drives. And you know what Dallas has done and what they're trying to do is keep Dak from turning into a Y.A. Tittle. There are no more games where he's throwing 40 to 50 times. They are trying to run the ball, run the clock, and move the chains. And I'm curious, Jay, it might not be Dallas. It may take Philly. It could be Detroit. But if you're telling me this defense ain't going to get nasty and get after it and wreck shop, then the way you keep this lethal offense of McCaffrey off the field is running the ball and those short, immediate routes. But I saw Arizona, and I'm watching that game like, Jay, tell me if this is off basis. They earned their way back in this game.
They did.
They took some chances with the fake punts. But you know what I mean? Like, They had some plays that I'm not accustomed to seeing the Niner D give up.
They did, but again, I'm just not in panic mode.
Right. And I'm not either.
The defense might not be as good. But the offense, I feel like, is better.
There you go.
Full season of McCaffrey, full season of Purdy. Kyle and Purdy are clearly in lockstep.
It's
like,
incredible.
Ayuk is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Debo's back. It's 2 or 4 years ago, Debo.
Yeah.
It's kind of a combination.
Last week he shouldn't even play, but he was just being John Wayne.
So to me, I mean, McCaffrey is a superstar.
MVP.
Kittle's not even hardly involved, except for the 1 week they need him to be involved because Debo's out or because Ayuk's out, and he has a big game in that game when they need it. So I think they've got it dialed. So the defense may not have to be as good if the offense is going to be at the level that the offense has been at, scoring 30. But I'm also open to the fact that the defense still has time. I think the defense is going to be better as the season goes on and they get more comfortable with Wilkes and he gets more comfortable with them. And injuries obviously can flip that a little bit. So I'm not really tripping about the defense. But you made the point. The Cowboys were able to come into Levi's in that playoff game and hold them to 19. And they've been they played an excellent defensive game to give themselves a shot.
McCaffrey tried to get through. It was you're going down. You might got 2 or 3 yards, but no more than that. Limited Debo in the big plays. Jay, there is no Diggs for Dallas this weekend. And now that Brock has the success he didn't have success after the Cowboy game. They lost that game. But these first 4 games, why do I feel like I keep using the football puberty word, but I feel like now they're so confident in what they're doing, they're going to test Dallas more than they did that game last year, if that makes any sense, because now I feel like they know they're on to something.
It's possible. I think the Niners they're due for a loss. I mean, they really are. But
it happens.
I mean, I guess what I want to ask you is, and I think you're going to have. I think I know what you're going to say, but
tell me if I'm right when you ask me.
Like, who needs this game more?
The scoreboard is 1,000,000 to nothing. It's Dallas. Now their season's not over. It's not about the record. It's about the mindset. You have to go slay this dragon that is physically beating you up and ended your season. Not beat you in the regular season, ended your season 2 years in a row. So they're already Dak's getting cranky with the media for bringing up how did you feel after the Cowboy game and Jerry calling the Niners Super Bowl favorites. Those are the truths. But to me, Dallas is playing with fire from this standpoint. If you lose, Jay, I don't know how they get up off the mat. They're going to win games, but emotionally, they're going to be like, they kicked our ass again.
See, I think, and you did answer it the way I thought you were going to answer it, for the record, since you asked me. But I tend to feel like I look at it a little bit more literally in the sense that, all right, the Cowboys haven't quite been as good as the Niners because they slipped up and lost to Arizona. But if they get this game,
oh my goodness,
all of a sudden,
oh my goodness,
they got the same record. And the Cowboys have shown they can beat them.
No doubt.
And look, Dallas has still got to fend with Philly.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it doesn't automatically put them ahead of the Niners because they still would be second in the division.
But even if you lose those Phillies game, the Eagles game, you can go toe-to-toe with Tyson.
But to me, I kind of feel like the Niners need – I feel like the Niners – it's not that they need it more, but I think they need to continue – to keep Dallas thinking that they ain't got it.
Right. Okay. It's just us and Philly.
Because if you come in and win early, and now of a sudden it's everybody knows that it could go either way.
We called it a 3-team race. Everybody did basically coming into the season.
So I think you start looking at it like if Dallas is 4-1 and they beat the Niners are 4-1, but they beat Arizona, and that's the difference. We'll see what happens with Philly. I think that's where you're more not that the Niners wouldn't still believe that they could beat the Cowboys in a playoff game if they have to, but I feel like you want to keep that edge for as long as you have it because we still don't know what this 49ers team is going to be all about this year. Like maybe we look up at 6 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now, and it's like, damn, the defense really isn't as good.
Okay.
Like everything you're saying.
They got dates with Baltimore. I get it, Jay. I get it.
And at that point, you double back when you look at the whole picture and say, oh, there's this. Oh, and they lost to Dallas. Like then you feel a little bit of a different way about. Whereas if you beat Dallas, then you're not. You're just like that box. There's never even going to be a shred of doubt that comes in your mind as no matter what you end up doing later, because you at least had that game in hand. And I'll tell you another thing. With Dallas having to play Philly twice, if you beat them and go to 5-0 and Dallas is 3-2, probably ain't any way in hell you're going to have to play that game on the road.
Oh no, that
right
would
there.
be secure, right?
So to me it's that, and it is. I think the Niners kind of know that. I think the Niners know that it's as you said, that they're the daddy.
Right.
I think they know, and I think that's, to your point, why they haven't been talking about. Like, the Niners almost seem right now like their mission is bigger than Dallas. Like, their mission is we're trying to win we're trying to be 8-0, 10-0,
no doubt,
15-2. Where it feels a little bit like Dallas's mission is, we're obsessed with the Niners.
Yeah,
we need to show.
We lost our best corner.
We can show we can beat the Niners.
No, Jay,
because they knocked us out.
No doubt,
2 years in a row in our house, in their crib. So there's a lot of dynamics in play. In addition to
Brock Purdy owning Dak. Dak.
The rivalry's back. Dak's lost to Jimmy and to Brock.
And could it be Brock again? Like, I asked Steiny yesterday, we talked about it briefly, and we'll get to it on the other side, Jay. I can't give you 5 quarterbacks right now that are currently playing or mastering their offense like Brock Purdy. And if Brock were to come in a second time and beat Dak, I think he's better. Naturally, his stuff is better than, he reads it and sees it better than Dak. You come in here and lay another L on Dak. I mean, what are we talking about with Brock? Like, who wants some? Like, forget Debo Samuel. Brock is going to be Debo. Like, I'm coming to take your food.
I think right now,
give me 5 QBs.
Or coming into this season is the way I'll put it.
Oh, okay.
I think
that's different.
Well, coming into this season, I think most people would say Dak is the better, more proven quarterback. If Brock balls Sunday and Dak continues
to stink it up, and they got red zone issues.
The conversation's going to start to be, do the Niners have the better quarterback?
Like, I think
without a doubt. And you're right. We're already seeing signs that you could make the case that the Niners have it.
That conversation's already happening. Brock would just be put in to others better than Dak, because that's already it started.
And that all goes into the headspace of, do the 49ers have ownage?
Sunday night.